Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys.
What's up at WR? Lamb determines success. While the agreed-upon deal for CeeDee Lamb and the Cowboys awaits an agreement, the receiver room in Dallas is set to head into 2024 with a healthy combination of youth and experience up top with unproven but talented depth at the lower portions of the depth chart. Lamb is coming off arguably the best season for a wide receiver in franchise history after setting team records in receptions, 135, and receiving yards, 1,749 in a season, while Brandon Cooks enters his second season in Dallas fresh off a hot finish to 2023 that saw him perfectly complement Lamb. With Michael Gallup now out of the picture, an opportunity is present for Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks, and Kevontae Turpin to take on the extra responsibility and production in the receiving game in 2024, as the team's time in Oxnard Caliph. At training camp will be big in determining who takes on those roles, especially if additional reps are available with a potential Lamb holdout. Further down, even talents like Jalen Cropper, Ryan Flournoy, and Tyron Billy Johnson all bring dynamic playmaking that could be worthy of a roster spot going into the season. With so much left to be determined this offseason at the position, it's time to take a look at what's up at wide receiver. What we know. After the season CeeDee Lamb had in 2023, there is little question about his importance in the offense. Just 2 years ago, some questioned if he would be ready to take on a WR1 role, and now he enters 2024 with his name sitting among the upper echelon of receiving talents in the NFL. Brandon Cooks' veteran presence also brings a comfortable presence behind Lamb at WR2, especially after the finish he had last season where he emerged as a safety net for Dak Prescott on sideline throws. What we don't. The picture after Lamb and Cooks is relatively undetermined. While the WR3 job is Jalen Tolbert's to lose, the off-season improvements of Jalen Brooks and the entrance of Ryan Flournoy into the picture as a rookie talent cannot be ignored in the equation. Kevontae Turpin also looms as a talent that saw his role increase in 2023, with those opportunities proving to be fruitful on occasion. Additionally, if Lamb's holdout extends deep into training camp, who takes the reins opposite of Cooks as the leader in the position room? That answer may lead to discovering the future WR3. What to watch for? Keep an eye on the Jalens, all of them. Jalen Tolbert has a fresh sense of confidence after a huge leap he made in year 2, and all indications show that his stellar play will continue going into year 3. Jalen Brooks surprised many by cracking the roster as a rookie and was reliable when called upon. Jalen Cropper, the lesser known of the trio, has real return ability and has improved offensively since being bound to the practice squad as a rookie. Cowboys urged to sign 4-time Pro Bowl RB in 2024. The Dallas Cowboys have already made major changes to their RB group, but they could make an even bigger move for an ex-Baltimore Ravens RB. After a disappointing year with the New York Jets and Ravens, Dalvin Cook needs a new team, and the Cowboys could be his landing spot. Bleacher Report writer Christopher Knox explored the possibility in a June 24th article. Knox explains that the Cowboys need another workhorse to help ease the load on the current group and QB Dak Prescott. Adding another back to the mix would be sensible, because if the offense doesn't have balance, Prescott is going to face a lot of pressure, Knox wrote. It would behoove the Cowboys to at least kick the tires on Dalvin Cook. The 4-time Pro Bowler appeared to lose a step in 2022 and struggled to get on the field in 2023. Knox mentions that Cook could be open to a team-friendly deal to get with a contender. He states that $2 minus $3 million could be a reasonable offer after Cook played on a $7 million deal with the Jets during the 2023 season before joining the Ravens for the playoffs. Cook may be past his prime, but he is still a 4-time Pro Bowler. Being able to buy low on a player with that type of ceiling is hard to pass up. Cook's struggles after Vikings run. While Cook was with the Minnesota Vikings, he was one of the premier running backs in the NFL. A Florida State product, Cook lived up to his second-round draft billing after arriving in Minneapolis in 2017. However, it did take him a couple of years to reach star status. Cook tore his ACL in his rookie season, playing only 4 games. A hamstring injury then disrupted his 2018 campaign, meaning that Cook only played 15 games over his first 2 seasons. The injuries were a worrying trend, but Pro Football Reference shows how Cook rebounded in 2019. In 14 games, Cook ran for 1,135 yards and scored 13 touchdowns, adding another 519 receiving yards. He had officially arrived, and the now 28-year-old would spend the next 3 seasons terrifying defenses. His 1,135 yards in 2019 was his lowest rushing total until the 2023 campaign. He scored a whopping 16 rushing touchdowns in 2020 and finished as a Pro Bowler every year from 2019 to 2022. However, his departure from Minnesota did not pan out. In 15 games with the Jets, Cook only totaled 214 rushing yards and 1 touchdown on 67 touches. Cowboys could get Cook's fresh legs. Back in April, Cook interviewed with KPRC2 writer Aaron Wilson. During the chat, the veteran RB explained that he's feeling optimistic ahead of the 2024 season. While 2023 was not ideal, it was not as physically taxing as previous campaigns. "I've got it all," Cook said. "The tools are still here. I didn't really get no reps last year. So the legs are fresh, so the resume speaks for itself. I'm still Dalvin Cook. I'm still that guy. For me, I don't like to toot my own horn. I just like to go out there, put my helmet on, and line up on the grass." Whether Cook finds his chance with the Cowboys or another team is unclear. But if he is feeling dangerous, just about every NFL team should be paying attention. Cowboys HC Mike McCarthy reportedly fed up with Jerry Jones. The Dallas Cowboys have been under heavy scrutiny with how Jerry Jones has approached the contracts of his star players. Quarterback Dak Prescott, wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, and edge rusher Micah Parsons have yet to receive any sort of extension, and the organization is reportedly nowhere near close to extending them. To make matters more complicated, a new report has emerged that head coach Mike McCarthy is fed up with how Jones constantly undermines him. Longtime NFL insider Rich Eisen brought up the report and added more context. Eisen quotes the report that states a former Cowboys personnel executive commented on the relationship between McCarthy and Jones, stating, "It is crazy what's going on, and it doesn't ever really change. Mike McCarthy, he's doing the best he can. Some of the people that I have talked to have said he is getting fed up with it a little bit." Eisen indicates that the quote is obviously the juicy part of this report, and that it can be chalked up to mostly just hearsay. However, he also indicates that if the report is true and McCarthy is getting fed up, then can you blame him? Eisen indicates that McCarthy had to go home and explain to his family that he had no clue what would happen to him next year. A logical source of frustration. Much like the Cowboys' star players, Jones has also not given an extension to his head coach or most of McCarthy's staff. Back in April, Jones spoke to reporters about the franchise extending players like Prescott and Lamb, to which Jones gave a vague answer that held no semblance of hope. Jones stated, "We'd like to see more leaves fall." This is a confusing statement considering Prescott, Lamb, Parsons, and McCarthy have all excelled at their respective jobs. Prescott led the NFL with 36 touchdowns. He also had 4,516 yards, which is good for third among all quarterbacks. Lamb was second in receiving yards with 1,749 and 12 touchdowns, which is 50 yards and 1 touchdown below league leader Tyreek Hill. McCarthy has led the Cowboys to 3 straight 12-5 records. Though the team has yet to make it to a Super Bowl, 3 straight playoff appearances should still be measured as successful. If this report is true, it would also aid the confusion that many pundits have shared about how Jones has willingly ignored upgrading the team in the offseason. The Cowboys made little to no effort to sign some of the big-name free agents. While cap space is always to be considered, the team could have made efforts to boost its roster to compete for a Super Bowl berth again. Jones continues to implement a wait-and-see type of ownership style, and it could come back to haunt him next season. Prescott is set to become an unrestricted free agent, and he might consider denying any sort of contract extension in favor of playing for another franchise that values him more. Lamb has also not shown up for OTAs or minicamp, leading many to believe he will also skip training camp until he is given a proper deal. Jones might need to do something to ensure he at least keeps the trio of his star players in-house along with his winning head coach.